Ever wondered how much a trip to Costa Rica actually costs? Today we'll be sharing everything we did, from the activities we loved to the meals we couldn't get enough of, and of course, how much all that set us back.
We're Erin and Will. Since 2020, we've been finding ways to travel more while balancing our full-time jobs.
And we're on a mission to see as much of the world as we can, starting with challenging ourselves to visit 10 new countries in 2025.
We want to bring you along with us as we stretch our PTO
And budget.
to experience new cultures, go on wild adventures, and check off our ever-growing bucket list.
So join us as we turn part-time travel into full-time adventure. Today, we're going to be breaking down our entire week here in Costa Rica to give you the behind the scenes on how much it really costs, some tips and tricks that we picked up along the way, and how we use points and miles to make visiting Central America's most expensive country a little more affordable. We will start by covering our main transportation and accommodation, which was our overlanding vehicle. Next, we will take a quick look at all the campsites and how much they cost for the night. Then we'll dive a little deeper into each location to look at the different activities we decided to do and not do, and why. We'll follow that up with all the different restaurants that we chose to spend our money at and which ones are probably worth going to a little more than others. And finally, I'll show you how we booked our flights on this trip using points and miles and how we flew here for only $45. We'll leave timestamps below if you want to skip around to a particular section, so let's dive into it.
On this trip, we decided to overland, which is essentially a 4x4 vehicle with a tent on the roof, serving as our hotel on wheels. We made a complete video about our experience, and we'll link that below if you want to check it out. Overlanding gave us the most flexibility to see as much of this country as we could in our 8 days. It also cut down the cost significantly, as our Overlander only cost $102 per day, where similar rental cars without the tent on top were found to be priced between $75 to $150, depending on what you were looking for. So if you look at it that way, we have both a hotel and a vehicle priced about the same as an average car rental. Now we know overlanding isn't for everyone, but this is how we decided to travel on this trip to make it more cost effective. And Nomad America really did a great job making us feel comfortable and prepared for our trip. However, there are a few more costs sprinkled in with a vehicle rental in Costa Rica, one of which is the mandatory liability insurance. For us, this was around $75 for the week. In total, it ran us $1,021.67 for our Overlander.
Now let's move on to our accommodations, or more or less campgrounds. Most campgrounds in Costa Rica do come at a cost, but they also provide key things like showers, bathrooms, and kitchen facilities. Something to keep in mind is there are some places that you can camp for free, but since this is our first time doing this and our first time in the country, we decided to stick with the campgrounds as it would just be a little bit easier for us. We kicked off our trip staying in La Fortuna. Our first night was spent at Vulcan Ecological Park, which charged us $35 per car. This was a great place to kick off our trip. Located about 5 minutes outside of town, it offers multiple bathrooms and showers and even activities that if you wanted to spend the day there, you totally could. You could hike up to the base of the volcano or even hike to the free hot springs down the street. Our next 2 nights were spent in Monteverde. The first night was spent at Campgrounds Campground. Located about 5 minutes outside of town, this one was up on a ridge, which offered stunning views, and it even had a hot shower. But it was a little bit windy, so we spent the next night at Camping Verde. Camping Verde is just a small place that we found after it was a little bit windy the night before, but it was great because we were right in the middle of town and very close to the cloud forest, which was awesome. Both of these campgrounds charged $20 per vehicle, so that put our total to $40 for our entire stay in Monteverde. We then made our way down to the Pacific coast, where we stayed in Quepos, right next to Manuel Antonio National Park. I believe we were staying in a parking lot, but either way, it was only $20 for the nights that we stayed there per vehicle, which is a great deal, especially whenever you're that close to the beach. One thing we ran into here is that it wasn't really a campground, so there was no bathrooms or showers or sinks to wash any of our dishes, so we were really relying on our 20-gallon tanks on the side of our vehicles. Our final campground was in the mountains surrounding San Jose, which is at the Refugio de Juco, which if you haven't seen our overlanding video, go check it out. This place was incredible. It had showers, it had a eating area. You could tell that people have come up there to go work and learn about the environment up there. It's just an incredible place, but he only charges $30 per vehicle as well. And finally, last but not least, our night spent in San Jose, we paid $108 to stay at the Delta Marriott Hotel. This hotel also came with free breakfast, so in my head, we technically saved $20 off the price of that, so let's call it $88. So altogether, our accommodations added up to $253. That put the total for our transportation and accommodation costs at $12.75. But next, let's dive into each of these locations a little deeper and look at the different activities and restaurants that we decided to spend our time and money at.
Since we were overlanding, our biggest activity was driving, camping, and exploring, but there were some things that we simply just couldn't pass up. The first being the Coffee, Chocolate, and Sugar Cane tour in Northfields Coffee in La Fortuna. This tour came highly recommended, so we were really excited to check it out. Our guide was great and taught us about the different processes of making coffee, chocolate, and sugar cane from seed to final product.
So you see, there are so many seeds, beans inside, covered with a white flesh.
So these are the cocoa trees. They live to be 75 years old, but after 40 years, they stop producing. The seeds just aren't as rich. So what they do is they cut them in half, they grate them, and they plant the seeds inside the tree and use that root system so the trees can grow faster. That's pretty cool.
He even showed us the traditional way that Costa Ricans make coffee, using a sock and drip method. Then we got to make our own chocolate. And our guide even showed us that some people take the chocolate and use it as a perfume. All in all, once you weigh in all the samples that you get and everything that you learned, this tour was totally worth it, coming in at just $94 for both of us.
I feel like a dragon right now.
Our next two big activities were in Monteverde. We have an entire video breaking down our entire time there, so go check that out as we'll link it in the description. But we definitely wanted to cover which ones we did, how much it cost, and why we chose to do it. Our first one was with Selventura Adventure Park. We had purchased the all-day tickets, which offered canopy tours, treetop walkways, and visits to all three of their animal habitats, the sloths, butterflies, and reptiles. This is definitely the most expensive thing that we did the whole time we were here. It cost $410 for the both of us. There are a few different packages you can choose depending on which ones you want to do, but after looking back at it, I'm glad we did the all-day pass. But two of the major things that we enjoyed the most were the sloth habitats and the zip lines. Not trying to short the canopy walks of the reptiles or butterflies, but these were the two that we enjoyed the most in case that helps you with your booking. There are a few other operators in the area, but we wanted to make sure we got the most action in our short time here, so that's why we went with Selventura. Now it's time for the first restaurant on this list. It's going to be the on-site restaurant at Selventura, called El Jardín. Don't get me wrong, the food was really good, and the service was great, but I feel like we could have planned it a little bit better and waited till we got back into town, and it probably could have saved us some money. Our entire meal came out to $110. But on the flip side, we would definitely recommend where we ate breakfast, the Open Kitchen in Santa Elena. This charming little restaurant wasn't too crowded, offered plenty of options for us, and didn't break the bank. For two great sized meals and coffees, it was just under $30. So if you're planning on visiting Monteverde, definitely stop here. Our next activity, and probably one of my favorite of the entire trip, was our night walk tour in the Monteverde Cloud Forest. This is a must if you're visiting Monteverde, and at only $52 for the both of us, you join a small group and get to see the jungle at night, which is just an experience of a lifetime.
Now let us tell you about two restaurants you can't miss out on when visiting Quepos. First up is Casablanca, located in the Igloo Beach Lodge. This restaurant was located literally steps from where we were camping on the beach. They had great food, the best happy hour, and an awesome atmosphere. It's connected to the Igloo Beach Lodge, which offers affordable accommodations right next to the beach, around $125 to $190 per night at the time of filming. Our entire breakfast came out to only $30. The next restaurant that you cannot miss if you come to Costa Rica is El Avion, which is a restaurant that's been built around a plane.
So you can see there is an airplane behind me. This is the C-123 that actually crash landed, and they brought the pieces here, and now they've turned it into this awesome restaurant, which is 1 kilometer from where we are camping tonight here in Costa Rica.
We decided to enjoy the beautiful views of Quepos from the top deck and take full advantage of the happy hour.
Moving on to our last major activity of the trip was a visit to Manuel Antonio National Park. This one was a really neat visit, and it's located right next to the beach, so it definitely provides you the opportunity to see some wildlife and some awesome scenery. I think it was $72 for all 4 of us to get in. Drove 1 kilometer here, which cost us a little bit more money. They wanted to charge us $20 to park, but we pleaded them down to, I think it was $12 per car, and we had 2 cars. Something to note and be aware of when you come here is not only are you paying for the park, you're also going to get charged for parking. It seems scammy. They run up to you, they just shove you into a parking lot and then talk to you. Be aware that this is going to happen and you will get charged, but you can also plead them down a little bit. Or if you're at a hotel or something, you could definitely walk and save yourself a couple of dollars. But this park is beautiful, but we've seen all kinds of wildlife even without a guide. I would recommend, if this is the only park you're going to get a guide. We've heard prices from $120 for the 4 of us, so $30 a person, down to $20 a person. Just something to keep in mind, but you can see wildlife without the guides, just maybe not as much. In my personal opinion, if you had the chance to see one park or the other between Manuel Antonio and the Cloud Forest, I would probably go with the night tour in the Cloud Forest. It was just way cooler in my opinion. Now let's head into San Jose to see a few of our favorite places we visited, starting with their Central Market.
No trip to San Jose is complete without a trip to the Central Market, so let's go check it out. This vibrant hub is located in the heart of the city, where locals shop for fresh food, homemade crafts, and everything in between. It's also the perfect spot to try some authentic Costa Rican street food or juice. Not sure what we ordered, but I know we have rice, we have plantains, and all other kinds of goodies. So let's dig in for this. It's really good. It tastes like a big cheese stick.
All right, one of the places we wanted to visit most in our short time here in San Jose is a neighborhood called Barrio Escalante, a trendy neighborhood known for its cafes and art murals and bars. So we're coming down here this morning to check it out, look around, maybe grab a coffee, maybe a morning beer if something's available. Because fun fact, this is the home place of beer, craft beer at least, here in San Jose and Costa Rica as a whole. Moving on, we wanted to highlight 2 free activities that we did on our trip that we think you shouldn't miss. The first was in La Fortuna, where we visited the El Choyan Natural Hot Springs. These hot springs are naturally heated by the geothermal activity from the Mount Arnold volcano. Just be sure to get here early, because it definitely gets crowded. We got there around 7 and left about 7:45, and there were people already pouring in. Another fun one that we visited was the Crocodile Bridge, located just outside of Tarcoles.
Oh my God, look at it.
This unassuming stop has you walking across a bridge that is about 20 feet above literal dinosaurs.
This brings our total for activities to $640 and our food to around $200, plus the $100 we spent on groceries, totaling $300.
So we're finally down to the last section of our cost breakdown, and what should have been the most expensive part of our entire trip, but it wasn't, our flights. And I'm going to show you how we booked this flight for only $45 and saved us a ton of money and helped us pack in all these activities and restaurants that we wouldn't have otherwise done without this little trick. If you're not familiar, travel points or miles are usually accrued whenever you fly with an airlines as a frequent flyer, and you earn points on those flights. And once you earn enough points, you can then cash them in for a flight of your dreams like we did this time. However, there are other ways to earn these points outside of being a frequent flyer. If you have select credit cards, like these, in some cases you could transfer those points and miles that you earn on your credit card purchases to the frequent flyer programs as a 1-to-1 ratio, and then book the flights of your dreams or just regular flights using the credit card points. This is the exact method that we used to book this flight to Costa Rica. Diving a little deeper, we used Virgin Atlantic's point search tool to find this exact flight for 20,000 points, $45 a piece, one way from Atlanta to San Jose. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now currently is actually a better deal than what we got, but we just wanted to show you that it's definitely possible to find these deals out there. But just know that you need to always be flexible, because sometimes the reward flight is not on the days that you want to or need to travel. After we found this flight, we took points from our Chase Ultimate Rewards portal and transferred them to Virgin Atlantic's reward system in order to book this flight. This is definitely an oversimplification of the process, but wanted to show how you can use points and miles to book trips of your dream or just make your everyday travel a little bit more affordable. If you're interested in learning more, leave a comment down below, because we would love to share the knowledge that we've gained while we're using points and miles to help make our travel dreams a reality. We hope you found the information in this video useful. Here's a full breakdown by category of everything we spent. If you'd like to leave us a like and subscribe, it would be very appreciated. And if you have any other useful information that others could use that are watching this, please leave it down in the comments. Or maybe anything we did wrong. Who knows? But if you haven't seen some of the things that we've talked about, here's a link to our overlanding video, and here's a link to our ecotourism video in Monteverde. Until next time, Pura Vida.
I think I should not be in the car. Always stay on the trail and walk slowly. That wasn't a fun fact.
Craft beer, that shit, that wine.
I didn't know it was gonna go all the way through like that.